Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into Garp Challenge Revolutionary Army 2 with all of the new Super Sugo units for the New Year's batch, taking on some harder, some 13-star content. And in today's video, we're putting them all on one team, running sort of like a weird slasher, free spirit striker kind of meta. Now, with the release of these three new Super Sugos, brings a lot of power and brings a lot of different dynamics in the sense of final taps and switch abilities and all that fun stuff. But the real additions that I do see for what we already have is the free spirit units of Zoro Sanji and then the Yamato character being a striker and a slasher, working very, very well with Gear 5. However, Roger and Odin is definitely not a unit that we should discredit. Roger and Odin are exceptionally powerful. They bring a lot of buffs to the slasher meta, and with the combination of Roger, Odin, as well as Yamato, we can actually do some really cool stuff with Despair and Bind Removal, just like the Gear 5 combination can as well. Now, I don't think this combination is as strong as that Gear 5 combination, and I'll do another video taking on the Kid Forest showcasing that. But I really wanted to just put all these characters onto a team together and just take them into some content and have a little bit of fun with the units, because they are all exceptional. Like, they have all have very good supports. They all have very easy conditions to get their Super EX or their final taps and their their rush abilities. You have just a plethora of different characters when you are using them in their single forms. But obviously when you're using them together, like, you are going to struggle a little bit with that Roger and Odin not synergizing super well. But all in all, we managed to get a no-stall run done against Revolutionary Army 2. And as you guys saw there on stage 3 against Hack, we had some really nice supports of the free-to-play Luffy and Tashigi to get around attack down. So these types of characters aren't going to struggle with supports, and you can get around a lot of very annoying shenanigans with these particular, the strength of these supports. On top of that, like I said, you have the utility getting around Bind and Despair as shown against Ivankov, which just means you don't have to worry about bringing supports or characters to get around that as well. So you can do some really, really fun stuff there. The downside I have found to these characters is just switching every single turn can be very, very tedious. Zoro Sanji definitely shines the most from what I've seen so far, and a lot of people predicted this. Like, they're an amazing sub, like the super sub, if you will. On top of that, they basically, if you put them next to someone that triggers their super tandem, you can just guarantee a super tandem every single turn with their swap, giving tandem orbs matching, so and adjacent tandem orbs. And they just made this stage so much easier to breeze through. They just make the damage output on every single turn be so much easier with their 1.3 times attack and their 1.3 times orbs and their matching orbs. They're very similar to Wipe It and Roger. However, you get tandem orbs instead of getting matching orbs, plus the attack boost is a little bit lower, but you can override it, so you can do some really, really cool stuff there. But all in all, their attack boost is bigger later down the line, plus you can rotate block orbs, which is kind of nuts. So Sanji and Zoro have seemed to be the strongest of the batch, in my opinion. The downside to the Zoro Sanji unit, obviously they make everyone free spirit slasher with their specials, but Zoro being driven slasher and then Sanji being free spirit fighter. If I said driven slasher, I do apologize. Zoro is a driven slasher, but they make everyone free spirit slasher, which works great with their kit in terms of running them as a captain and whatnot. But running them on other teams and then having to switch every single turn, it can be a little bit of a nightmare because you kind of forget what classes you are. And with Sanji, for example, he's a free spirit, so like if you have buffs that work for free spirit characters, they're only going to work when you are a Sanji variant. But if you make everyone free spirit slasher, you're not going to have that big of an issue, and you can do some really fun stuff there. Nami, I just brought her along because it's Nami. She's so good. And for Revolutionary Army 2, she's so good at just taking away the paralysis, bringing back specials. I have the Bonsai Kainu. He's great because he runs attack down and paralysis. And then he also has the Kuzan support. But then Yamato was a very interesting one. I wanted to include Yamato on the team just because it's one of the new year legends, but we also bring Yamato as a friend captain, so I kind of didn't need to. But her switch ability and building up the final tap for the final stage was something very interesting. But the downside to her is Red Haki has the ability to just absolutely decimate everything that she's trying to do. So really, running her under Roger Odin is the play. And if you don't get Red Haki along the way, unfortunately we did, but if you don't, you can save that for the final stage if you need it to then remove it. But her final tap was so incredibly impressive to me. Like, going through block orbs, giving a Wano slot, I did a run against the Kid Forest, and she actually kills Okos, actually, with type disadvantage with her final tap. So she can do some really nuts things, and her final tap is definitely one to look out for, because I think she might actually have the best final tap in the game now. Straw Iron Crew V2 obviously is just insane, but the things you can do with this new ability to stack the multiplier at 200% for final tap is really making Yamato a force to be reckoned with. On top of that, her super switch and her super X is actually pretty interesting. Her super swap can give resistance down by 20%. Her super X can also give cooldowns, which is really nice. And being in that dual form captain at a 6 times multiplier to slasher and strikers is very, very good. For shorter content, she can speedrun it with giving everyone cooldowns. She gives herself cooldowns. And then we've now found out in her dual form, whenever a striker or slasher uses a special, she's actually going to give herself 3 turns of cooldown every time they use a special. You can do this 5 times per stage, so 5 specials, meaning 15 turns of cooldown, which is very, very strong, 14 times per run. As for Roger and Odin, I think Roger and Odin are definitely going to be the sleeper of the batch. They have a lot of power output, and we're seeing how strong they are in PKA at the moment. The ability to remove the nullification effect is definitely one. People have forgotten how strong and the power of it. People have definitely overlooked what it actually does for the team and how much utility it actually gives. So I think that's going to be very, very good moving down the line. Roger and Odin, unfortunately, is the one unit that doesn't sort of mesh with either the anniversary characters or mesh well with Gear 5 Luffy. So that's probably the biggest thing that they're going to struggle with. But I do see them doing their own stuff with the new Momo, the new Hiyori, their ability to just give a monstrous attack boost, a monstrous orb boost, and the amount of damage they can give too. But their support definitely stands out the most for me, and I do think this character is going to be very valuable for your account, whether you have them and you're using them or not, because they go on any quick slash unit, I believe, or maybe it's any slash unit, and they buff quick on the final stage, like their attack and orbs, I believe, which is just kind of nuts. Or maybe it's just attack, I can't really remember, but I just remember it being a very, very, very good support. And like I said, I do think they're going to be a sleeper of the batch, because they provide so much damage output with their special being an attack and an orb booster. But overall, I'm a big fan of Zoro Sanji. Just getting one copy of Zoro Sanji as a newer player is going to help you guys out. They have a very similar effect to Yamato and Ace, but just with a lot more power. Yamato does seem exceptional. I'm a big fan of what Yamato's doing too. I'm really keen to see what damage numbers she can put up. And as for Roger and Odin, like, their animations are so good, like, so freaking clean. But I'm very excited to see how people use this unit and the boundaries that gets pushed with this particular character, because I do think they are going to be an exceptional unit to own. But let me know who your favorite is in the comment section below. While you're down there, don't forget to bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.